Welcome to Biz Coach and Coffee, where our guests are experts, entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants that share tips, strategies, and tactics to help small business entrepreneurs grow their business for long-term success. Please welcome your host, Biz Coach Steve Feld.
Hello, I'm Biz Coach Steve Feld, and my goal is to stop business owners from suffering entrepreneurial depression and start making running their businesses much easier. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to crack multiple 6 and 7 figures without burning themselves out. And today we have another great guest for you. We have Mindi Huebner. Now, Mindi, she's an intuitive mindset mastery coach, an IBCP-certified NLP practitioner. Wow, there's a few acronyms. Life and health and success coach and clinical hypnotherapist. Folks, we're in for a great ride today. And she knows when you rewire your brain and release your limiting beliefs so you can create a soul-aligned business and extraordinary life. And I think that's what we're looking for. So please welcome Mindi.
Hi, Coach Steve. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me here.
Well, thanks for being here. I mean, that's a lot of acronyms. And tell us, how did you get started doing what you're doing?
I have taught, coached, mentored my entire adult life. So it's just always been in my blood. And I have found new pathways through passion. And, this area looks like a really great one to focus on next. And just taking this natural trajectory to mindset coaching, because everything starts here in our brain. And so if we don't love our business, if we're burnout, if getting to 6 or 7 figures is at the cost of our health and our relationships and all the things, there's a better way. And it all starts right here between our ears in what we believe is possible for ourselves, how we can rewire that to start showing up as the humans who, and how to start creating those systems and containers in our lives that we cast a vision and then we show up casting the vote for that version of ourselves all the time.
Oh, absolutely. And I couldn't agree with you more, especially with small business entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants. The number one block you have isn't the economy, isn't sales. It's all between your ears.
Yeah, we can't. Here's what I know. We cannot out hustle our beliefs.
That's it.
So you could give them strategy all day long. If they don't believe they're the entrepreneur who can thrive in and through accomplishing the strategy, taking it to outcome, they won't, because we're always winning the game we're playing.
That is so true. I don't know how many times I've come across business owners where their own belief and their own mind is stopping them from massive success. So I'm glad that you're out there in the world helping them do that.
I love and am obsessed with helping people rewire their brain, because we are so powerful and we truly don't tap into it like we can. And I always joke that we can use our brain for good or we can use it for evil. And we're typically fighting for our limitations as opposed to fighting for our limitlessness. So this is how your brain works. It deletes, distorts, and generalizes based on your beliefs. It's a filtering system. You've got to have a filtering system because so much is coming at us in a day. Millions of bits of data, 2 million bits of data coming at us. You can handle 5 to 7 chunks of that coming at you. So you've got to have a filtering system, right? Or you would be that little emoji with the head exploding, right? There has to be a way that your brain, and it's through your belief system and your reticular activating system, that you filter based on experience and based on beliefs that other people have handed down to you, constructs that you are showing up in, world constructs, the belief that you have to hustle 24/7 in order to have a successful business, all those things, right? This is what our filter is based on. And so we delete, distort, and generalize based on that. Now, if that is a belief that you must grind and hustle always, I'm not saying there's not a place for aligned grinding and hustling, right? There definitely is.
Yeah.
And the hamster wheel, though, if this is the belief, then when proof comes in that there could be a more aligned way, that there could be a way that involved more rest and less hustle, you won't see it. You will delete, distort, or generalize it because of the way that your filter is. So you can shift that, which is the beauty. When I say we're always winning the game we're playing, if you're consistently saying, I'm overwhelmed, I find this in entrepreneurs, right? We're overwhelmed. We wear all the hats. We've got so many things to do, whatever that looks like. If we're thinking this thought, I'm overwhelmed, and we're having it habitually, now that thought becomes a belief. It becomes an I am statement. The words we say after I am, some of the most powerful words in the universe. Once we make that I am statement, we have it in our belief and in our identity. We then create habits to prove it to ourselves. So if you're consistently saying words that are disempowering, I want you to recognize how you also have disempowering habits to prove this to yourself.
Right.
And beautifully, the opposite is true. If there is a place where you are saying, like, I'm a powerhouse time manager, I am amazing with tech, I am, right? Notice those I ams that are really empowering, and notice the habits that you have that prove those things to yourself. So you can flip that switch anytime you want.
Absolutely. It's like, I always use that example. It's like, if you spill coffee on yourself early in the morning, oh, that's the way the day is going to go. Guess what? The day will go like that, because you're going to create that day just like that.
Exactly.
You need to prove your belief.
Exactly. So when we think about rewiring our brain, what we get to do is ask ourselves, who am I being and who do I want to be? And if you take nothing else away from this episode, who are you being and who do you want to be? These are super powerful questions that you get to ask yourself without shame or guilt. This is a no judgment zone. So we're saying, who am I being? Am I being the entrepreneur who is showing up as a 6 and 7 figure earner? Nope. Okay. Do I want to be? What's keeping me from being that? Can I step into that version of myself right now? Can I get someone to help me step into that version of myself? Or is it time to go take a nap? because I'm done for the day, right? Like there's no more moving forward in this. I need to stop the momentum completely and then come back to who am I being? When we ask that question, who am I being? Who do I want to be? In order to know who you want to be, cast that vision. What does that business look like? And you specifically said, break that 6 and 7 figure code. Why do I want to do that? When we have an outcome, goals are an aim, they're a direction, they're a purpose, right? Outcomes are the results. They're what actually happen. And so I like to work in outcomes. When we get on the road, the highway of a goal to the destination of an outcome, what will having that outcome do for us? Why? If it is not so compelling that you could dive into a swimming pool of that outcome, you'll see it and hear it and taste it and feel it, and it's internal and external. It's not compelling enough to show up in it all the time. You get to know what that's going to be like so that you can ask yourself, who am I being? Am I being Biz Coach Steve who has 5 consultations in one day, does this, does that, right? Records 3 podcasts, does all the things. Am I being who I say I want to be on the way to the outcome? And outcomes are just these beautiful milestones. The magic is in the identity. The magic is in creating who we get to be. And when we hit a milestone, it just reminds us, yep, I'm being that person. We don't want to record one podcast. We want to be podcasters.
Right.
We don't want to call in one client. We want to be client magnets, right? Like there's this difference in doing something once, muscling our way to something once, and then being the entrepreneur who.
That's so true. And you brought up a couple points. A lot of the business owners, entrepreneurs, they don't know their goals. You know, I hear this, and I'm sure you do too. I want to make $1 million in my business, and it's like, okay, great. Why? And it's a good number.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's the elusive number, but why? How would that change your life? How would that change your business? How would that change your community? And we start digging into it, and they just give me that, there has to be that purpose behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And then until we define that, you're never going to hit the million because you are not clear on why you need to hit a million.
And if you're not clear on why, then the action steps are very murky as well,
That's it.
right? And how you show up in those action steps also murky. So clarity is the key, getting really clear, casting that vision, I like to say, so that you can cast the votes, so that you can develop the strategy to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it helps us know how we get to show up in the weekly planning, in the monthly planning, in the quarterly planning, and the yearly planning. What is the ultimate fruition of this is going to be $1 million business. Okay, now I can reverse engineer.
There you go.
To get to the $1 million business as well.
So many businesses don't have that exit strategy because they don't know what the end is. And you know what? If you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there? You really won't. Well, we're going to take a quick break and get a word from our sponsor. We're going to be right back with Mindi because we're going to get a little bit deeper into all of this. So stay tuned. Plan to have your best business year. Most business owners do not set time out of their busy schedule to create a solid strategic plan for the new year. And then they flounder around and have to figure out everything as the year moves on. So join us for our content-filled workshop, where we're going to provide you the basics to create a solid strategic plan for your business in 2023. Have the roadmap you need to be successful. The link to join the workshop will be in the show notes. We'll see you in there. And we're back with Mindi. So we're talking about you need to know what your goals, your whys, and who you really want to step into being so you can start being that person that you want to be. And who are the people that come to you? Who are the clients you serve? And pretty much what is their one problem that they're coming to you for?
Yeah, that's a great question. I serve established, successful female entrepreneurs. They're already hitting the 6 and 7 figures. They're already hitting the $2, $3, $4 million. That's not their problem.
Right.
What they're finding is they have created a container for their business based on someone else's hustle model. And now they've gotten to this point and it is not sustainable in the way that they want it to be sustainable anymore. And their belief around how they get to show up in their business is stopping them from switching the container, from moving it to something that is soul aligned. That's why I help people create a soul aligned business. If our businesses do not serve us first, so that we can be at our highest and best to then go out and serve our client at our best, what's the point? And that's why they come to me. They come to me in order to reveal and release those limiting beliefs that are keeping them from stepping into the 10-hour week, if that's what they want, with the strategy to continue to create the 40-hour-a-week income. Like, all of those things can still happen when we decide to release the limiting beliefs and have more empowered beliefs about the way that we get to show up, what we get to create and call in. And remember what we said about the filter. The moment we release that belief that there's no way, this is not possible to create a 40-hour income in a 10-hour week, the moment we say, oh, there's a lot of possibility in it, and I'd like to see the possibility starts to come at us. We don't even need to know the how before we release the why it's not possible for us.
No, and that's a great point. You got to release that first. I mean, I've had clients, a CPA client who said, he told me grotesque number of hours he was working. He goes, I want to get it down to at least 40 hours. I'm like, okay, great. Let's dig in the why. Once we started doing that, and when he started coming up, but I have to do this, but I have to, and I'm like, okay, we got to get rid of all the buts. Because that's what's stopping you. That's why you are causing yourself to work these 80-hour weeks. And once we started coming through that and started seeing a better life, you could just literally see his light bulb go on. And next thing you know, within a couple months, I mean, he's now down during tax season working 45 hours.
Bravo.
It's like,
Yay for him and you getting him there, helping him
yeah.
to reframe and see the possibilities. That's awesome.
And what does that have to do with business? Well, I can't fix your business if I can't get you in the right spot to fix your business.
Exactly. Something that you said that's so beneficial for everyone is he said, but. So one of the ways that you can rewire your brain immediately is to start to recognize, number one, that your words are containers and they either give you power or they take it away. And when we decide to swap the word but, now I preface that with occasionally a big old well-placed but is absolutely necessary.
Yes.
And most of the time we can go to and however. So when we swap but for and, but typically ends something, as you noticed when you were talking about that client, oh, I really want to do this, but, and then he gave you all the limits, all the reasons why it couldn't happen. So he literally negated the first part of the sentence. I really want to do this. No, you don't. You just want to fight for your limitations, and it's okay. It's just a habit. There's no shame in that. Like, let's start changing that habit. So when we release the but stops, it ends, it negates. It's a closed door. And we swap it and step into using the word and instead. We now have just expanded and opened up for the possibilities. I really want to work a 40-hour work week, and I'm struggling to see how that's possible with all the work that I currently do. They don't have to cancel each other out. They both get to be true. And all of a sudden now we're casting votes for the version of us that is looking for our limitlessness, that is looking for the possibility. So swapping but for and is a huge way to start to rewire your brain immediately. My second favorite way to do that with a word swap, because these are the easy things that your people can take away. Instead of saying, I should have, because man, should is a could with shame smeared on it, right? Like, yeah, I should have. Instead of I should have, which is a habit as well. These are all habits that we don't even realize that we have, right? These words that we use. Instead of saying I should have, what if you instead chose from in the future, next time, from now on? All of a sudden now, instead of feeling guilty and shameful and beating yourself down because I should have done this, I should have done that. We all know how that feels. Then, God bless, then from now on, in the future and next time, from now on, I'm going to check the data a little more often. Not, I should have checked the data, right? From now on, I'm going to dig a little deeper on XYZ. Next time, I'm going to ask a more empowered question there. Next time, I'm going to set a boundary. In the future, in the future, this task will go to someone else. Not like I should have given that to my VA, or I should have hired someone to do this. In the future, I'm going to hire someone to do this. Like, wow, that's so expansive. It lets you step into your CEO power and not like shame and guilt yourself down. So this is an amazing way to start rewiring your brain immediately.
Yeah, it was simple things. I mean, I've owned and operated 7 businesses and ran 3 others. Believe me, I should have done a lot of things, right? In one of my businesses, once I got a coach and they go, don't use that word. I learned that a long time ago, and I changed it to like, I just learned that I need to implement this system, which will do this, and gave me a result. And once I started rewiring my brain like that, I was like, oh, I just did a learning lesson.
Exactly. It's just like, there's no failure, only feedback.
Right.
We can give this huge meaning to failure, which then stops us, limits us, or we can say, well, failure is actually feedback. It showed me a way I didn't want to show up. It showed me something that I don't want to do again, right?
Right.
And so I actually did learn. I actually did get great feedback that I could use from now on in the future and next time.
That's it. And the way I look at it, it's just a lot of learning lessons versus regret and beating yourself up over something you just didn't know of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One more really simple way to start to rewire your brain is to, when you're casting this vision for yourself, is to use mental rehearsal. And that's seeing it and being it in your mind so that you can then show up in it in the physical world. And the beauty in this is your brain doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. Right. So when you imagine yourself, and we're not just seeing it, remember, we're diving into a swimming pool. So we're hearing it, tasting it, feeling it, smelling it, internal, external, all the things. When we see ourselves go from point A to point B, and point B is a well-formed outcome, when we walk through that, then when we actually show up in the physical process of it, we have negated some of that anxiety, some of that fear, some of that stress, because the brain's like, oh, we've done this. We've already been here. A great way to use that, for me, I use mental rehearsal without even thinking about it. And so when I mentally rehearsed our podcast, I could taste my beverage. I could hear the sounds outside that were going on and your voice. And I felt internally and externally. And what was my well-formed outcome? That no matter what, if there was a technical difficulty or anything like that, this episode was going to be amazing and your most downloaded episode. Like, that's always my well-formed outcome at the end of a podcast guest.
Me too.
Awesome. So that's a really great way to start rewiring as well, to see it and be it in your vision, feel it, taste it, smell it, all those things, to start proving to your brain that you are it. You get to choose to cast votes towards that version of yourself.
Oh, excellent. Well, our guests usually like to give away something to our audience to help them in their business and their lives. Do you have something that you can give away to them?
I do. I have a downloadable guided mental rehearsal. So what I just talked about, I have created a downloadable for you. It's about 11 minutes long. And all you need to do to be ready for it is to have a well-formed outcome. So what is it that you want? And I will walk you through who you get to be in it and how you cast the vision for it. And then you also know how to cast votes for yourself to show up like that during the day or during the week or whatever that looks like. And I am super excited to share that with your guests because it is literally creating the container for their success.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we will have the links to Mindi's offer in the show notes. So please take advantage of her gift. Help yourself, help your business, grow, be that business owner, that entrepreneur that you want to be.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me share.
As we're wrapping up, any final parting words for our listeners that can help them?
Yeah, when you, reminder to ask yourself, who am I being? Who do I get to be? And when you think about a habit or a thought pattern or a way of being that's no longer empowering for you, and or it is disempowering, you're seeing the fruit of this isn't working for me anymore, cast that vision again. Okay, this isn't working anymore. Who do I get to be? Consistently asking yourself that question. The quality of our life is determined by the quality of the questions that we ask. And so if you want to have an extraordinary life, start asking yourself, who am I being and who do I get to be? And when you notice yourself not being who you want, take a beat, take some action, whether that action is stopping the momentum completely and taking it out, or taking action into and forward in being who you want to be.
Oh, excellent. Just want to say thank you so much for being on our show and sharing your knowledge and your wisdom. Folks, take advantage of Mindi's offer and change your life for the better. Be the person you want to be. Great. And folks, if you like Mindi and some of our other guests, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Always, Mindi and I think we would appreciate your positive comments on this podcast.
Absolutely.
And thanks again, Mindi, and to everyone else. This is Biz Coach Steve Feld. To your business success.
We hope you enjoyed today's topic. If you'd like to discuss how you can apply these strategies in your business, let us know. This episode is sponsored by Spotlight Books. Get your own expert book written about you in 30 days. Set yourself apart from the competition. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Also, feel free to give us your comments. We look forward to hearing from you on Biz Coach and Coffee.